Storytide and Harper Audio present That Devil Ambition by Linsey Miller. Performed by Michael Crouch, Angel Pean, and Kira Fixx. For the students, from whom much is demanded, attention, dedication, sacrifice, compliance, silence, and above all, cash. Fabian. Lessons in Dramatics. Lesson 1. The desks were arranged in a circle, an ill omen. Fabian hesitated in the doorway. This was the first test of the honors class, whether the other students realized it or not. Sitting at the desk nearest the door would give him a better chance of escaping if he needed to. But he hadn't spent 5 years manipulating how his professors and peers perceived him, only to ruin it now with a cowardly choice. No. The seat across the room from the entrance was perfect for a student brave enough to not run at the first sign of trouble, yet shrewd enough to not turn his back on the door. His 2 best friends would sit on either side so he could keep an eye on them. The first term saw the most casualties, after all. Fabian fished his favorite notebook from his pocket. It had been his first purchase after receiving his Stellarium acceptance letter 5 years ago, a rare indulgence to cut through his short lifetime of sacrifices. He hadn't written in it until the end of his first semester when class ranks were posted, as if one wrong scribble would earn him a demerit. And then he had spent the next 4 years filling the pages. They were nearly solid blue with ink and covered in everything he had gleaned about the honors class. He had learned everything he could in preparation for this. He hadn't failed a class yet, and he wasn't starting now. Fabian studied the classroom. It looked like all the others, albeit darker given how far underground the room was. The school was built into the earth of an island, leaving the students to scurry about the halls like ants, and the 2 windows on the northern wall showed nothing but the swirling waters of the River Gore. Running water weakened the divide between the 3 worlds, which was why the school sat at the center of the deepest, fastest river on the continent. The desks and chairs, old wood worn down by decades of students, weren't unusual either. But Fabian still leaned down to view the desktops at an angle. The light was glinting oddly off one to his left. Words had been carved into the top of it, then sanded down till they were illegible. Carefully, Fabian took an old carpentry pencil from his pocket and folded his notebook until he could cover the carving with an unused page. He rubbed the graphite across the paper. The bodies are irrelevant. It was rare that vandals and cheaters bothered with grammar. Surely, since the school hadn't sanded it away completely, it wasn't important. But if it was, he didn't want anyone else to know. He tore out the page and placed it on his tongue. Consumption was the only way to truly destroy something. Footsteps echoed down the hall outside. He leaned against his desk, pretending to study his notebook. It was easy to school his expression into one of oblivious disregard. It paired well with his dark under-eye circles and gently wrinkled shirt, and the whole of him gave off the appearance of someone too caught up in his studies to have secrets. The door opened, familiar ink-splotched fingers curling around the edge. Fabian relaxed. "I should have known it was you," he said. Credence Windlow was one of 2 people he trusted. She had beaten him in underworld topology their first year at school, and he had befriended her immediately. The smartest student required the smartest allies. "Were you planning on saying that to whoever walked in first?" she asked, whispering despite their being alone, and threw herself at him. "We did it!" Such displays felt so childish. They had accomplished what only a handful of magicians ever did, and were very nearly adults and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?